country waits to see what Budget 2018 will bring. End of the year to see lower revenue for many. And spotlight on developers in resource-rich provinces.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining me for Saturday's news. All eyes will be on Treasurer Charles Abel next week when he presents a budget that tries addressing the effects of low commodity prices, tight revenue inflows and an ongoing foreign exchange crisis. External pressures like slow economic growth in Europe, the US and China are also having an effect on PNG's export revenue. Commentators have also stated that the government overestimated revenue projections from the extractive industries.
While there is expected to be some recovery in the global economy, the Treasury is not banking on a comfortable ride over the 2018-2019 period. Some analysts are predicting that the bad days won't be over until the 2020 financial period. It's against this backdrop that the PNG government is preparing the 2018 budget set to be presented in Parliament next week. The warning signs have been there for several years. A booming Chinese economy in the mid-2000s, then a slowdown in growth, meaning less demand for raw materials. In Europe, growth has also been slow. In simple terms, big economies aren't spending as much as they used to, and we can't sell as much as we need to keep our economy in a comfortable range. And how does that affect us? Despite the talk about having a diversified economy, having mining, oil, agriculture, manufacturing and all that, there has been no real effort to create that level of diversification that can keep us going comfortably during economic downturns like this. In fact, we are so heavily dependent on the extractive industry that, quote, when commodity prices drop, we also suffer. So what about agriculture?
So the theme of unlocking the potential of agriculture in the country is very important. And much of it you will realize that we've captured it in our code. Knowing very well what has been happening to our country and the economy for many, many years.
For years, the government has talked about agriculture and the need to create a strong agriculture base. The rhetoric is still ongoing since the last payment of 100 million kina released during the Somare government. Economic commentators also point out that we're getting the basics wrong. The spending on transport infrastructure that will stimulate growth is going to the wrong places. There's too much money going into Port Moresby, while access roads in agriculture production areas deteriorate.
In the near future, our agricultural sector and many different agricultural industries in the country will be world-class, highly competitive, and lead the charge in transforming our economy and making our peoples self-sustaining and prosperous.
So what should we expect from the 2018 budget? It'll be one focused on tightening spending.
We want to, of course, give some ability to provinces to raise internal revenue through small taxation measures, which we're also looking at. And we want to give a larger allocation of the GST shares back to provinces.
There'll be more focus on tax revenue collection. The government's also focusing on what it's calling broadening the tax base. There may be increases in income tax or GST, depending on which route the government chooses.
In the coming budget presentations, I will articulate in some detail some of the achievements there so far. But no one is saying that commitments are perfect, but certainly a lot of progress has been made, and I will articulate those clearly.
Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
As the year draws near, companies are putting closing figures to their end-of-year balances. Credit Corporation is one such company. As the national government passes the 2018 budget next Tuesday, Credit Corporation's Chief Executive Officer Torkel Bowen hopes to see more relief to reflect the fall in revenue.
It was a well-deserved night out for businesses after a year's hard work. Players, experts and government workers reflecting on the year that has been. Credit Corporation is one of those businesses. It has been operating in Papua New Guinea for 39 years.
Doubt we are going through very difficult times in PNG at the moment. And I first came here over 30 years ago, so I've had a long history with this country, and these would be the most challenging times we've had. It's a combination of events which has caused it, and that started with the first probably the end of the LNG project, the downturn in the resource industry and depressed commodity prices, and then PNG got the double whammy of the El Nino event. And that El Nino event meant that the rainfall dropped a lot, and therefore the levels of the Octeti River dropped, so that the barges which take the copper concentrate from the Octeti mine couldn't get up. So the Octeti mine had to close down for 6 months, and that of course impacted a lot. And the El Nino event also affected agriculture, with coffee and cocoa exports, for example. So it's tough times. But the future of this country, I think, is very, very strong, and Credit Corp has been here for 39 years, and we're very committed to the future.
With the passing of the budget next Tuesday, CEO Bowen told EMTV News that tax relief would be a welcome move from the government.
People always talk about taxation relief. Some things like some investment allowances might be a good idea. An investment allowance is essentially where the government will provide additional depreciation benefits for companies that do invest in new equipment. That's a technique which has been used a lot in other countries, and particularly in Australia over the years. I think that could be good in PNG.
But the company remains positive, saying 39 years of operation in Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands is a mark of confidence of the region's potential.
We need to start looking at focusing more on renewable resources, because what we have at the moment, we're very much a resource-dominated economy, and we can only pull stuff out of the ground for so long. Eventually it will be gone. So we do need to start looking more at agriculture, fisheries, things which are sustainable.
Harry Agimbari, National, EMTV News.
Chairman of Credit Corporation and former Governor of Bank of Papua New Guinea, Sir Wilson Cummett, says Credit Corporation will be setting up a branch in East Timor. Sir Wilson addressing 100 guests at the company's Christmas function. The Dili branch will be part of the company's 86-year collective experience in the Pacific Island region.
We have eyes on East Timor. The paperwork is done, okays from here, the central bank, Bank of Papua New Guinea. We're just waiting for the final paperwork to be done so we can start business in Dili. Our head office is housed in what we call Credit House, downtown here. We also have 4 branches in Fiji, and we have a Credit House in Suva. We have a representation in Honiara, in Solomon Islands, and 1 branch and an office in Vanuatu. And those are the islands, Pacific Islands that we're in.
Lay MP John Rosso is calling on all residents to take ownership of domestic violence-related problems and report it to authorities should there be a need. Rosso was part of the Walk for Peace today, aimed at raising awareness against domestic violence. This was organized by the Family Sexual Violence Action Committee.
More than 100 people marched from Erikutu town this morning, making calls to end all forms of violence.
Say no to violence! We need peace!
The walk was led by the Lay MP and FSVAC patron John Rosso, the Metropolitan Commander Anthony Wagambi, and the Police Minister Jelta Wong.
The walk is creating awareness that people must know that it is wrong, and there are laws to protect the victims of this crime.
There has been an outcry for justice for the victims of domestic violence in the recent months, following reports of attacks on women accused of sorcery. According to the Police Minister Jelta Wong, tougher penalties need to be imposed.
I want to make sure that gender-based violence is one of the top things that we can decrease, and the sorcery violence against our own people.
Lay MP John Rosso is calling on the public to take ownership of the problem and report it.
We all have to change our mindset and attitude. We all should stop looking the other way. When something happens, we should stop it. We should also, it's not the work of the police alone. And as
Lay police have been receiving a lot of reports from victims of domestic violence. However, many cases are still unreported.
We will still attend to all those complaints. So we want people to report it to police. So let's start dealing with it.
Lucy Kupana, National MTV News, Lake.
Police Minister Jelta Wong says to initiate a probe to establish reasons why the police housing project in Lae has not been completed after 5 years. This will be the second promise for an investigation since the project began. Former Police Minister Robert Atiafa also promised an investigation.
5 years since it began, the Bumbu Police Housing Project remains uncompleted. The contractor dragging its feet, the blame has been shifted to the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary for not paying them what is owed. Today, the police minister, speaking after a walk against gender-based violence, said he will initiate a probe into the housing project.
First things first, we'll do the investigation here, and then from here I'll take it back to Port Moresby, and we'll sit down with the commissioner and make sure that something does happen.
This is the second time an investigation has been promised by a police minister. The former reserve corporal who previously lived in Lae says he doesn't intend to take another 5 years to resolve the police housing project delay at the Bumbu Police Barracks.
It's a work in progress. I want to start working on houses by next year.
For Medang, where the crime rate has reached unprecedented levels, the police minister says changes in the police management should happen soon. Medang also has a long-standing police housing problem that hasn't been resolved. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Lae.
National MTV News continues with Parliament stories. Don't go away. Welcome back. Lands Minister Justin Tichenko has told Parliament the acting ILG manager has been removed from office because of recurring and ongoing land issues in the country.
Just for your information, the acting ILG manager has been removed because of these issues. Yours is one of many. He has been removed and the new ILG manager has been put in place, which which was done about 3 weeks ago.
And turning overseas, it is the wealthiest IV in the country and it covers the largest area in the entire South Island. Now 20 years after it settled with the Crown, Ngai Tahu is still looking ahead and has elected a woman to lead it.
And a new vision for Ngai Tahu.
Representing the iwi from a team of leadership rather than the presidential kind of style that we've had.
Lisa Tumahai is the first female kai whakahaere for Ngai Tahu, a huge step forward for Māori and women.
I'm excited. I've had a lot of prominent women from across New Zealand texting me, messaging me, Facebook, just very excited about what this means for other women.
The Hui a Iwi this weekend is also celebrating a milestone for the tribe.
It's been 20 years since Ngai Tahu's deed of settlement was signed with the Crown. It's been a long road rediscovering their culture, but iwi here say they're so proud of how far they've come.
The grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, because that they know who they are.
I know that 7 in Māori also means star.
After all the years of struggle that we've had, that we're now able to stand proud and say we are Ngai Tahu.
Since 1997, Ngai Tahu's grown from 4,000 to more than 57,000 members. The $170 million settlement is now a $1.3 billion business, making Ngai Tahu the wealthiest tribe in the country.
We've got lots of diverse assets. We've got such a long-term focus. We think in hundreds of years rather than decades.
Investments range from tourism and property to fisheries. Last year, $50 million was directed back into the community through scholarships and a savings scheme.
It's really cool. I think it's a really important part of developing the iwi.
Now with Lisa, the new face of Māori in the South Island, she's confident Ngai Tahu will go from strength to strength.
Zimbabwe's first new president in 37 years has been sworn in. Emerson Mnangagwa has promised to hold elections next year, but was a long-time aide to former President Robert Mugabe, his reputation as a ruthless enforcer has some people worried.
If there had been a roof, they would have raised it. 60,000 voices. and rhythm and sure feet. Unleashing the pent-up emotion not of days but of decades. The military who triggered the chain of events that brought the Mugabe era to an end. And the traditional chiefs who'd fully expected to see him die in power. Instead, a man who a week ago was hiding in exile in fear for his life arrived to claim the presidency. The new president was once a loyal comrade of Robert Mugabe, and in power he helped to mastermind the often violent takeover of white farms and the brutalization of opposition politicians in rigged elections. He spoke of opening the country to foreign investment, creating jobs, compensating white farmers who'd lost their land, and of a break with the painful past.
Once we cannot change the past, there is a lot we can do in the present and the future.
Ben Freeth is a farmer who lost his land, but now helps to train young black farmers.
He's been involved with breaking the law, and we are very, very concerned that he won't come back to the rule of law. What we need in this country is the rule of law, and only time will tell whether he believes in the rule of law or not.
Skepticism is justified, but the people are tired of the old way. They cheered for freedom. Today, at least, was no one-party party.
National EMTV News will be back with more after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Concerns have been raised on developers in resource-rich provinces if they are adequately spending on priority areas for the provision of goods and service delivery. Rye Coast MP Peter Sapia raised similar concerns after approaching the Ramuniko management to assist with infrastructure development in the district.
The question remains if developers in resource-rich provinces are adequately spending on priority areas for the provision of goods and service delivery. The Rye Coast MP told Parliament yesterday urgency on the state of roads and bridges in the district prompted him to seek assistance from developer in Madang province, Ramuniko.
So last week, me sit down one time, President Long Company, now management team, me ask him all long building this la road to me lo erima go long side all. But all talk was lo previous government got some la promise one time la company lo building this la road now bridge plomi. But no one pla looks away long previous government. As a new member now, me ask him this la question ni go long minister. Now my minister can take note on that. Does this government he got some la plan lo building this la road? Na complete him this la tupla first bridge.
Analysis conducted by the National Economical Fiscal Commission and the 2013 Provincial Expenditure Review pinpointed several resource-rich provinces as failures in basic services delivery, and recommendations were made to the national government to assist resource-rich provinces to focus on goods and service delivery. Works Minister Michael Nally says developers must prioritize this spending.
All major companies inside our country, including oil palm industry, only now involved long Alpimol 11 provinces where only operate long and long. Put him some money through law tax credit, long Alpimol provinces where only stop long and so.
Developers for over time have been using the tax credit funds at their own will.
Tax credit funds money, and by now plus stop straight long disposal long. Only can all him. Lord Islama's percentage only is only most at the moment maybe like talk long 0.75%. But at a time when it is increased to maybe 1.2 or 2.5 or 2%, it is important that we must all know that tax credit money, money belong to the company. And money belong government block Papua New Guinea and people block Papua New Guinea. So time only like working more projects too. Only no got right lo spending this la money lo will belong lo number long get up. they have to zero down on people who are affected in that particular area.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Works Minister Michael Nally has signalled all MPs to consult the Works Department with their infrastructure development plans for roads and bridges. Minister Nally says many projects constructed by foreign companies through private deals with individual MPs record shortfalls and projects are left incomplete.
Minister Nally made this statement in yesterday's Parliament when responding to questions raised by Raiko's MP on the incomplete project.
But the Tubla bridges are incomplete. Now we have a problem where, because in the beginning Department of Works was not involved, Mibla no Savelo status Dilla bridge, except that we know that the bridge is incomplete. That Korean company put up the piers to carry the actual load to build the concrete bridge over, but bridge I mean complete. So me like talk so long you blog get our honorable members too. Or sometimes you got some money walking inside long all districts blow you me. Or long all provinces. You must involve him Department of Works because we got shortfall. Mibla can come na at least album you lo karem dilla load law complete him all projects.
What's left is a situation of incomplete projects. Minister Nally has requested the Raiko's MP to write to his office for a deliberate action to be executed.
Complete him this la bridge blow you, but me also ask him you too. Long time you sim DSIP blow you because this la me one blah road inside the district blow you too. You must try to put him some money, me blah by put him some money, and we'll try and see how best we can help. It depends on how big that the bridge, how long the bridge is, na costings belonging because we were not involved at the initial stage.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Trukai Sports is next. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Tarama Aquatic Centre Facility Manager Agaru Gas has thanked Trukai Industries for their continuous support, reason being the lifeguard uniforms. Further training will be organised with Lifeguard Australia that will begin next year.
The sponsorship worth over 40,000 kina covers the new uniforms worn by the lifeguards at a time when the country is catching up with its international counterparts in meeting global standards when it comes to sporting facilities. And with facilities already at their universal level, Turama Aquatic Centre is happy to say that for the first time after the 2015 Pacific Games, the country over the last 12 months produced certified lifeguards to run the swimming facilities, and staff are now equipped to carry out their duties as genuine lifeguards.
With the sponsorship comes with a lot of benefits as well to Trukai. We look to also offer Trukai signage throughout our venue, sponsorship opportunities for their products. Likewise, in return, we also look to give them also membership to our gym so that they too can come and use our gym on a regular basis.
National Marketing Manager for Trukai Industries, Maybelline Fernandez, says while the brand Trukai has become synonymous, it is Trukai's commitment to supporting communities and sports initiatives in the country.
On board as a sponsor. The name Trukai, the brand name itself, is synonymous right across the country. Whenever they've done surveys, the Trukai brand name is the #1 household name in the households because it's a food brand. But at the same time, the name is synonymous with our dedication and commitment to sporting, community sport right through to premium sport throughout the country. One of the things we noticed after the Pacific Games was when all the new venues were built, swimming has become very popular now that the public have access to really good facilities. And so that's why we thought that this would be a great opportunity to tie up our Trukai brand with a premium facility.
Alluding to the manager's remarks, David Awa of Operations says it is important to making sure that all lifeguards are certified. He says while pool services are provided to the public, parents and guardians of young children should always be responsible for those in their charge. He says having proper uniforms worn by the lifeguards is important and easily identified to anyone needing help.
We are one organization probably in the whole country, if not the only organization that has lifeguards. And I'm proud to say that they're trained lifeguards. Most of them are certificated, well trained, and we have continuous training programs in place throughout next year as well to upgrade our lifeguards. So safety and the lookout of all public coming to this venue is very important.
Lifeguard in here in Moresby is a new thing, especially in Papua New Guinea. We consider it very important, especially one in a public venue like Tarama Aquatic and Indoor Centre. With lifeguards, basically when parents and kids actually come here, they're in the care of their parents. Lifeguards are here just to make sure that things are safe and that the venue is actually safe for the parents and the kids to actually use the facility. The most important thing about lifeguard in here, especially at Tarama Aquatic, is that it is not a daycare. Parents still have to take the responsibility of looking after their kids and be in the pool with their kids at all times.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Tonga has bowed out of the Rugby League World Cup after losing to England 20 points to 18. Tonga made a remarkable comeback in the last 10 minutes of the match, scoring 3 tries through Tevita Pangai, Siliva Havili and Lolohea. Tonga had one last play in the 80th minute where Andrew Fifita decided to go himself, having the ball stripped before picking it up and putting the ball on England's try line. The ref ruled it forward.
Well, that's, we call it Mate Matonga, mate. It means die for Tonga. And, throughout the whole tournament, we've played for the full 80 minutes. And, we never give up. And we showed that again today, mate. And we just hope, all our Tongan people are proud of us.
Unfortunately, there won't be another game for you next week. But for you now, the special memories you take from this tournament as the captain of Mate Matonga.
Yeah, man, a lot of good memories. And this group has been an awesome group to be a part of, and we've got a lot of good players and a lot of good leaders in this group, and I just hope we can carry that on leading into the next World Cup.
How do you think England's going to go next week against Australia in the final?
Well, I hope they go well, mate. They've been good the whole tournament, and they really showed their class tonight. And unfortunately, we just lost by 2 points, but I wish them all the best, and I hope they go well against Australia.
Sika, we thank you, Mate Matonga, for a wonderful tournament, thrilling us all.
Cheers, thank you very much.
And England has now secured their grand final spot in this year's Rugby League World Cup. They face Australia next week. And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. With doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight in the southern region, mostly fine in Port Moresby, fine weather in Daru, brief showers in Kerema, mostly fine in Alotau, and cloudy periods in Popondetta. In the Momase region, cloudy periods with rain in Lae, rain in Wau, showers in Medang and Wewak, and showers and thunderstorms in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, brief showers in Lorengau, thunderstorms and showers in Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul, showers in Kimbe, and a few showers expected in Buka. And in the Highlands region, showers and morning fog in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Before we go, a quick look at our stories making headlines. Country waits to see what Budget 2018 will bring. End of year to see lower revenue for many. And spotlight on developers in resource-rich provinces. And that's the news, sports and weather for this Saturday, the 25th of November 2017. I'm Helen Seah. Pleasant viewing. Good night.